So I told myself a long time ago that I would never touch World of Warcraft. And we're going to break that oath now. Not in your life. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell and this is once again coming from my apartment. Now today we are going to be talking about the film Warcraft. Not World of Warcraft, Warcraft. So this is a film which has been in the making, or at least has been seemingly done, I guess, for a while now, and now they're finally releasing it into theaters. It takes a lot of the general lore from the games, as far as I'm aware, and throws them into a story for a movie. And so that's what we got on screen. Travis Fimmel, you might recognize him from Vikings on the History Channel. He's the main lead character in this movie. Does a very good job in his performance. You can tell that this is kind of the movie that he is kind of made for. He does a very good job in it, and I like seeing him on screen. Toby Kebbell, he plays the main orc. I'm not going to even try to pronounce any of those names or any names, honestly, throughout the movie, because it's just not going to happen. He plays the main orc in the orc army who we're supposed to be following, who we're supposed to be caring for, stuff along those lines. And if you've seen the trailer for the movie, you know which one that's going to be. Now, what I have to really applaud about this movie is how good the CGI looks, because all of the orcs are CGI and motion captured, and they look fantastic. They're just so well done, so good, and the CGI in this movie just blew me away in regards to just the backgrounds and the orcs and just all the special effects. It all looked very, very good and very, very well done. You can tell that it's being taken from the game. It's got a lot of fan service throughout the course of this film, which I appreciated. I didn't recognize it, didn't care about it, but I appreciated it. And the action scenes, once they finally happen, they look really, really good. They're really fun to watch, and you just see people getting taken down in the most vicious ways. There's one point where a guy's head just gets crushed by an orc, and it's just like, this film could have been R if it had just shown enough stuff like that. That's really where the positives end for me, for the most part. The movie starts out incredibly slow, and I was just very, very bored for the first hour of this movie. Once the 1 hour mark hits, then the action finally happens, and then it's just a fun ride for the last hour of this movie. But getting to that point was just so hard to do. The story is also kind of hard to follow at times, because we are following just two different stories which don't really interact with each other for like 90% of the movie, which was a little bit disappointing and a little bit strange why they tried to advertise like they were going to interact a lot more in the trailer with Travis Fimmel and the human side story, and you got Toby Kebbell's orc story with kind of an uprising among the orcs. And you just thought by the trailer, oh hey, these two sides are going to have to work together to conquer an unnecessary evil, and it just doesn't really happen. They kind of stay their separate stories for the most part. They interact once throughout the course of the movie, and it's kind of something that you see in the trailer already. And so I don't know, that kind of bugged me because it just made it kind of tough to follow, because it's just two stories which, while they're generally similar in regards to like they're taking place in the same realm and the same issues going on, it bugged me to that degree. I also felt like Toby Kebbell's orc story ended up getting kind of the smaller string, or like the lesser plot. Didn't get as fleshed out. I didn't really care as much about it. I couldn't really follow it as well as the human story, because it's just either my perception or they just didn't do the story as well with that character. There's a twist in regards to the villain of sorts for this movie, which was a bit predictable after a point to kind of just see coming with a certain character. I won't spoil it, obviously, but it just kind of bugged me when I was just like 20 minutes in the movie, okay, that person's going to be bad. And then they were. And then the ending to this film, like the last 5 minutes per se, I feel like this is going to be the big divider for people who are going to enjoy this film or just absolutely hate it, because it sets up a sequel very much. It does not conclude the story. It sets up a sequel or potentially a trilogy. I don't mind it per se. I think it's a very risky move, but I applaud it for trying that, because it makes it kind of feel like a Lord of the Ringsy thing, and it kind of sets up the sequel to a degree with like just how it ends. But I feel like a lot of people who just wanted a contained story within these 2 hours are going to be disappointed, because we don't really see a conclusion, and it just, again, it acts as a setup for the sequel. And I was surprised by that. Again, I didn't mind it that much. I respected it for the decision, but I think a lot of people are going to be upset by that decision. But guys, Warcraft, while the action scenes are very, very fun to watch and the CGI looks phenomenal, it just has a lot of plot and story issues, which ended up kind of bugging me for the most part throughout the course of the movie. But that said, I did end up having a fun time with it because of the action scenes. Again, the first hour, very, very slow, very, very boring for me personally. Once you got to the action after the first hour, had a very fun time with it. Fun time seeing all this stuff happen. And yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on this movie. I ultimately did end up having a fun time with it despite the plot issues, but I think that's something which is going to bug a lot of people regardless. But guys, those are just my thoughts on Warcraft. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Once again, if you so choose, I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, my people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.